Eating Animals, a non-fiction book by Jonathan Safran Foer, was initially published in 2009 in collaboration with the non-profit organization Farm Forward. It delves into the ethical, cultural, and personal aspects that shape Americans' dietary habits, with a particular focus on the consumption of meat. Safran Foer, an advocate for animal rights, wrote this book with the intention of raising awareness about dietary choices and the process involved in bringing meat from the farm to the table. The book explores themes such as consciousness, animal rights, and the far-reaching consequences of diet on both culture and the environment. Reviews from critics were varied, with some commending the extensive research and comprehensive approach of the book, while others found Safran Foer's personal interjections distracting. Despite this, Eating Animals achieved significant success as a bestseller and is currently being adapted into a documentary film by producer Christopher Quinn and actress Natalie Portman, working closely with Safran Foer and Farm Forward. Eating Animals begins with Safran Foer explaining his objective of providing Americans with a broader understanding of the context surrounding their consumption of animals and the repercussions of this choice. He clarifies that his intention is not to persuade readers to become vegetarian but rather to encourage them to reflect more deeply on the components of their meals. The inspiration for the book stemmed from his young son, questioning why people eat animals. Safran Foer reflects on his upbringing, where meat consumption was unquestioned and a routine part of life. However, a formative experience occurred when a vegetarian babysitter refused to share her chicken with him, leading him to contemplate the implications of eating meat. Since then, he has alternated between periods of vegetarianism and a standard omnivorous diet, both during his college years and beyond. After getting married and having a son, the family welcomed a puppy into their lives, which quickly became an integral part of their family unit. This prompted Safran Foer to contemplate the reasons behind the distinction between animals considered as food and those seen as companions. Recognizing that various theories exist, he believes that cultural differences and personal preferences play a significant role. Motivated to delve deeper into the subject, Safran Foer immersed himself in extensive reading about animals, their upbringing, and their consumption. His sources ranged from government pamphlets to internet videos. Through his research, Safran Foer discovered that prior to 1923, the United States economy was predominantly reliant on family farming. During this time, animals were raised by farmers who treated them well and only slaughtered them as necessary for sustenance. However, a pivotal moment occurred in 1923 when Celia Steele, a housewife, received an unexpected delivery of 500 chicks instead of the 50 she had ordered. Rather than disposing of or selling them, she raised the chicks using feed supplements. By 1935, her farm had expanded to house 250,000 chickens. Steele's successful experiment in large-scale farming influenced pioneers like Arthur Purdue and John Tyson to replicate her achievements, giving rise to the factory farming industry in the United States. Factory farming, which focuses on mass production and slaughter to cater to a widespread consumer base, has led to the emergence of cruel and confined conditions for animals, resulting in disease and poor health. Safran Foer highlights the negative consequences of factory farming, including its environmental impact as a significant source of pollution and the mistreatment of its employees. While even those involved in factory farming acknowledge the need for improvement, they argue that the traditional family farm system cannot meet the current demands. Safran Foer concurs, emphasizing that present-day family farms are unable to fully provide for the food needs of even a small area like Staten Island. Although Safran Foer acknowledges that the deplorable conditions of factory farming have largely driven him to adopt vegetarianism, he also emphasizes that ethical alternatives to factory farming exist. These alternatives could thrive if consumers cared enough and were willing to pay a higher price for ethically produced food. Safran Foer highlights the existence of family-owned and independently operated farms that engage in large-scale farming while upholding higher ethical standards. He mentions notable examples such as Frank Reese's Turkey Ranch and Nyman Ranch, where renowned cattle are raised by Bill and Nicolette Nyman, the latter of whom is a vegetarian herself. For Safran Foer, the treatment of animals serves as a reflection of how humanity treats one another. Jonathan Safran Foer is widely recognized as one of the most acclaimed authors of his generation. He gained international prominence with the publication of his novel Everything is Illuminated in 2002, which blended elements of his family's history, the Holocaust, and the collective trauma of World War II. The book was later adapted into a film in 2005, featuring Elijah Wood. In 2010, Safran Foer released an experimental art book titled Tree of Codes. His most recent novel, Here I Am, published in 2016, explores a complex series of events affecting a Jewish family in Washington, D.C. Safran Foer's writing has garnered significant recognition, including the Holtzbrinck Fellowship at the American Academy in Berlin and inclusion in the New Yorker's 20 Under 40 list. Many of his works are deeply influenced by his Jewish heritage and his family's experiences during the Holocaust, leading to his appointment to the UN Holocaust Memorial Council in 2013. Currently, he serves as a creative writing professor at New York University. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.